Is Kingdom really worth watching? Hello there, my fellow moviegoers. Chris, back here in the movie chair, and today I would like to take the time to talk to you guys about a Korean television show called Kingdom. I know this is really a big diversion from what we usually do, just talking about recent movies or past movies, but this is a TV show that I really wanted to discuss with you guys. So if I had to describe this TV show in one word, what would that one word be? Zombies. Now I hear people saying, whoa, wait a minute, this is a zombie TV show? Yeah, it is, but it's not like a Walking Dead Korean kind of show. This thing is not your typical kind of zombie film. Most zombie films or TV shows that you watch, what is it mostly about? Some kind of big kind of viral outbreak that happens, makes people turn into flesh-eating monsters, and people are running from them. That's pretty much it, I would say. Now there's not that many zombie movies that I actually would consider to be good. Some of them that I think are good are the original Night of the Living Dead, which was like the really big first zombie film ever, Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland, and World War Z. Each one of them offered something a little bit different or a little bit different take of the zombie series. Kingdom actually manages to take a different take on the zombie series as well. Yes, you still have zombies chasing people and trying to eat people, but let's look at how it's different, okay? It's not about a big viral outbreak that happens in the sense that it's like a genetic modified or laboratory kind of thing, because this actually takes place in a more historical part of the Korean society. The way people turn into zombies in this is from something called a resurrection plant, which is actually performed on somebody who has recently passed away, and it's because there's a worm in there that actually attacks the brain. And the way it works is when somebody who's a zombie, when they bite somebody else, the worm from that person actually goes into the next person, lays eggs, eggs hatch, and it actually goes into that person's brain as well. So it's not your typical just breathing on each other viral infection kind of stuff. Now I know what you're thinking, why in the world would somebody take a plant and actually bring somebody back from the dead back then? It's actually got to do with political motivation. So this is the way it works. The new and younger wife of the emperor wants her unborn son to take over when the emperor dies for him to be the next one in line. But since she's still pregnant with him, if the emperor dies, then his son, who is fully grown from his first marriage, will actually be the one who takes over the throne. She doesn't want this. So how does she do this? You have to keep him alive. Well, when he's already dead, you have to keep it secret. And the way you do this is you actually have him become a zombie so that you can keep up the idea of, yeah, he's still alive, technically. Political motivation, power hungry, this TV show really had this aspect of it, and it actually created something different where you're actually asking yourself, who is really the monster in this movie? Is it the actual zombies, or is it the emperor's wife who's actually going to extreme measures just so that she can control power, and her clan, who she's a part of, who have actually kind of in a way infiltrated themselves into smaller positions within this government, can actually take control and be the leaders, because that is what they want. There are many revelations throughout this show as you watch it that actually kind of leave you on the edge of your seat wondering what is going to happen next and what's actually going to happen to the emperor's first son, who is trying to get the word out and trying to figure out if his dad is really alive or not, because he doesn't know. And when he finds out he's a zombie, and trying to discover how did this happen, because there's actually outbreaks of people becoming zombies elsewhere. And it happens because somebody who the emperor actually kind of ate by accident, I guess you could say. Yeah, he actually ate him. When they took his body back to be buried, this little poor village who doesn't have much food, they end up taking this guy and cooking him and eating him in stew, which in turn they get the worm that's inside them. And all of a sudden they all break out, they become zombies, and the next thing you know, they have a pandemic on their hand. But yeah, there's lots of twisted turns, and there's points where you're gonna be asking yourself, wait a minute, this doesn't make much sense. How is it that this works and this works, or this doesn't work? And then it's like when you have these questions in your mind, all of a sudden the show starts answering them for you, which is really, really good. They really tried not to ignore any small details without this thing, especially when it comes to the zombies' main weakness. And their main weakness is at first they thought, wait a minute, they don't like coming out during the day, they only come out at night. But as time goes on, you actually start noticing little hints saying that maybe this is true, maybe this is not true. And in the end, everything that you thought was true in this instance is actually not true. There are 2 seasons of this show online right now, and watching them, I really thought that the second season was going to be it, because I really felt like, okay, this story is wrapping up, we're getting ready to be done. But oh my God, season 2, the way that they ended it, you actually had some cliffhangers. They left it very wide open, and maybe in the future we're actually going to get a season 3 of this. I really do hope we get a season 3 of it, because we actually have more questions at the end than we do answers. But I believe this show really does go into more of a social commentary aspect of it than your typical just run away from zombies kind of thing. Because it talks about the political powers and how far people will go to keep the power that they have in government. And it can be pertaining to other stuff, whether it's business, anything like that, when you just have people who are really ruthless who want to keep the position that they have. Plus it talks about the kind of like relationship between government officials and whatnot and then just regular people out there in the world. Because at the time when this TV show takes place, there's a big kind of like society gap between like the really rich and really poor. There really isn't a middle ground, and there's like there's a war that had happened, there's a lot of starvation, famine, and people are having a hard time to survive and struggle throughout all of this. And when you watch it, you can really see how you really care for these people. Like, you can really, like, the people who are just kind of like the common people, you could say, the people who are actually fighting, trying to survive, you really root for them and feel sorry for them at times, feel bad for them. There are a couple of moments where they have really big really emotional scenes in this thing where you know, maybe you will cry, but you really do start to care. And when somebody really kind of like goes out of the way to hurt somebody else who you really care about, you really feel it. Like, they did a really good job of like building care and emotions for these characters in this show through the story. All in all, if you have not seen this series yet, I would recommend go ahead, fire up your internet and go watch it. You will not regret it. You will get hooked into it, and maybe you can come away with your own thoughts and opinions of what they were trying to do with the idea of the government versus the people. And if you've already seen this series, please tell me, what did you think of Kingdom? Did you like it? Maybe what are some of the things that you loved about it? What's something you didn't like about it? Please, I would just love to know down in the comments section, because that is what it is there for. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give us a like and also to subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date with all of my upcoming reviews, trailer reactions, and everything else that I have got coming for you in the future. Well, alright my friends, that is all the time we have for today. I'll be seeing you guys later, and I will save you a movie chair for the next video.